Welcome to the AACFB's 2025 Meet the Funder webinar series. My name is Monica Harper. I'm the Executive Director of the AACFB, and I will be your host. Our presenters today are Robert James and Stuart Warbuth from Gulf Coast Business Credit. Gulf Coast Business Credit is both a funding source member and a gold sponsor of the AACFB, and I'd like to thank them for their support of the association. Before I turn it over, I'd like to go over a few items to make this webinar more enjoyable and informative for everyone. During the presentation, you should see a Q&A box that allows you to ask questions. If you have any questions during the presentation, please submit your questions in the box and they will be answered by the end of the webinar. Please reserve the chat box for communication between attendees. The entire webinar should take no more than 30 to 45 minutes. And for those of you who would like to review the information at a later date, it will be posted on the 2025 Meet the Funder page of the website, and it will be emailed out to the AACFB membership. At this time, I will turn it over to Stuart and Robert. It is all yours.
Hello, everybody. This is Robert James with Gulf Coast Business Credit. Stu will be on as well. We appreciate everybody taking the time to join us today to learn a little bit about, what Gulf Coast Business Credit can do for you and your clients. And hopefully you get something good out of this. And hopefully we can all get together in person at the next event, introduce ourselves face to face, and hopefully do some business with you all. So we appreciate you joining us today. So in a nutshell, the theme of the webinar today is over and over and over again, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the webinar. But kind of the agenda and the breakdown of today, we're going to talk a little bit about Gulf Coast Business Credit, or GCBC. We're going to give you a little background history of how this all came to be and the solutions that we're able to offer to your clients. It's more than just factoring, so there's a lot that we'll throw at you. The kind of industries we serve, if there's anything specific that that you're working with that you don't see on our list, that's fine. Just give us a holler afterwards or in the Q&A section, after we're done, and we'll be able to answer that. The residual income, that's why we're all here, right? So Stu will talk a little bit about the residual income and how that can really benefit you. The broker playbook, everybody has their own things that they do to close business. So, in here will be a few tips to hopefully help you close more deals. The benefits of using Gulf Coast, and then our contact information at the very last page. So a little bit, next slide, Lauren. So a little bit about Gulf Coast. I'll kind of read this, but if you have any questions, just hit us at the end. We are a full-scale bank. We do factoring, asset-based lending. Gulf Coast Business Credit is a division of Gulf Coast Bank and Trust. We are one of the probably top 5 working capital finance companies in the country. We do huge volume. We work with many industries, as you're going to see. So we've been doing this since 2000, so 25 plus years. So we've been in the business a while. We maintain well over 3,000 clients and growing daily. We are members, AACFB 2025 Gold, and we'll be at the next convention as well as an exhibitor. So hope to see you all there. History about Gulf Coast. It was founded as American Savings Bank back in 1883. In 1990, our current president, Guy Williams, took over American Savings. As you can see, Gulf Coast, we are an FDIC regulated bank. We have now well over $3 billion in assets. As you can see, we're well capitalized with over 180 million in equity. And our asset-based or factoring division has been around since 2000. So as you can see, just by this little history here and the type of money that our bank holds, we have the money to fund deals. We're not afraid to throw money at deals that we feel are worthwhile. So if you have anything, let us know. Some of the solutions for Gulf Coast, and guys can all read this, accounts receivable factoring. But like I tell my clients, I'm like, look, this isn't rocket science. Invoice factoring, if you need working capital today and you have a job that you finish finished, turn your invoices in. We will pay you immediately. So you're not waiting the 30, 60, up to 90 days to be paid back by your client or or the debtor. You can do more with your money today, I tell them. A lot of the companies and a lot of clients come to us and they need money for, they're trying to bid on bigger jobs. So that's a reason to factor. They may need to hit payroll for the week. So they come to us for that issue. And we do turn clients around fast. So if they turn an application in, what's today, Wednesday, based on the industry, in a lot of cases, we can have them funded by Friday, based on the industry now, and them getting the paperwork back to us. And I tell everybody, you need money. It's as fast as you get me the paperwork, we're willing to go to work fast for you. And I also say, look, if you think you're going to need money in 30 days, let's get you set up. It's not costing you anything. But don't call me on Wednesday and say you need $1 million on Thursday. That may be hard to do. So if you know you're going to need factoring, come to me a little early. Let's get you rolling and get you set up. As you can see, we do asset-based lending. So we kind of base everything, to be honest with you, on accounts receivable, but we will look at inventory. So if they're sitting on a bunch of inventory in their warehouse, we will look at funding on that. Again, based on what that inventory is, we will back it by their accounts receivable, but we will look at inventory financing. Obviously, equipment financing. I've done a few deals with some of you right now over the last couple of weeks. So equipment financing is good, as well as real estate. But again, we're going to back it with their accounts receivable. So keep that in mind. The very last one there, I know a lot of companies charge, fees for many different things. To be honest with you, when I get a factoring client set up, sometimes there's not even a setup fee. Now, if they're needing $5 million a month, $3 million a month, we may charge a small doc fee for that, but that's it. There's no hidden fees, anything like that. So, but like I said, in many cases, it's zero. The solutions, ledgered line of credit, that is kind of us, like you can read it there, hybrid to financing. We use this type of product when we have a client, and I'll just use transportation, for example. They may have 100 trucks. They're getting thousands of invoices and monthly, literally. But with that invoice, they have their backup documentation showing that they dropped the load off. So they're going to get a signed bill of lading and rate confirmation. So right there, there's 3 to 5 pages for one invoice. So in that case, paperwork nightmare. We don't like to put people through that. So we kind of use a ledger line of credit. And we really just, we pull them together and we will give them a borrowing base off of those invoices. So it's just another way of putting a factoring in place for them without the paperwork nightmare. The industry, the other partners and other deals that we can get done are purchase order financing. So say you have a client that's trying to fulfill an order for, and I'll just use Walmart, for example, and they don't have the money to put up to get the product. We will front them the money for that purchase order so they can fulfill the order, right? So they do that, they get their product, they put it in the store, right? At that point, it becomes an invoice. So we can, at that point, factor the invoice as well. So you're kind of getting from the purchase order up front if they need to fulfill the order. And then the separate product is once the order is fulfilled, they're able to invoice it, and then we're able to factor that invoice. The other one is equipment financing. Again, we do a lot of equipment financing as well. We really don't do the cannabis industry. I'll throw that out. But everything else, I mean, we're looking at the normal, the yellow iron, cranes, boats, airplanes, some medical equipment, hardware, software. So we do a lot of different types of equipment financing. So keep that in mind. And then we also do government contracts as far as invoice factoring is concerned. So if you have any clients working with the government, we can factor those invoices as well. And the next slide is going to be the industries we serve, and I think Stu was going to take over from here. Stu? Okay, maybe not. Stu is traveling, so he may be at the airport or hopping on a plane. But anyway, so the industries we serve, as you can see, transportation's a huge one for us. Temporary staffing. So temporary staffing is an agency that may staff nurses and so forth at the hospital or medical facilities, warehouse staffing, they need to pay them immediately or within the week, so that sometimes the client has to factor those in invoices. Oil and gas, we're huge in the oil and gas industry. We have a lot of our salespeople in the shale plays across the country. So we do a lot of oil and gas factoring for the service company, service providers, manufacturers, distributors, as I said, the government, wholesalers, and technology. If there's anything on this list that you see that you have clients that need some help, let us know with the Q&A or give one of us a call at the end. Next slide, please. The residual income. This is where the part the over and over and over again comes in. In factoring, we pay it's standard in factoring roughly. It's 10% of what we make every single month, but you're getting that over and over again monthly. Now, an average client with us, last time I checked, was over 4 years. So that revenue stream, mailbox money, you would get for as long as the client stays factoring with us. And as I said, they're usually around 4 years, give or take. That number, that residual number, of course, will fluctuate, right? The more they factor, the more we collect, the more you're going to earn as a referral or broker. So keep that in mind. The relationship, as you can see, the broker program, we do it all. We'd love to earn your business. We're easy to work with. We really are. And Stu and I, we do a lot. If you ever need us on the weekends, we're available. If you need us at night, we're available literally. So just give us a call anytime. If it's 8 o'clock tonight and you don't have a prospect that wants to talk, just give us a holler and hopefully we can help you out. Next page, please. The important stuff that we really need, obviously, and that you guys want to see as well, it helps the deal flow, it helps it get done quick, is the quality of the paperwork. If and I deal with it every day, obviously you guys and gals do as well. If the paperwork's there, we really can't look at the deal. There's just certain things we need, and per client or per industry, it may be something different that we need. A trucking client is going to need something different than an oil field or staffing client. And again, we can talk about that as we look at each deal. We do need first position lien on accounts receivable. We get this a lot. We have a lot of clients, and we work with a lot of banks, to be honest with you, other banks that will call us and say, look, I have one of my clients here needs a little bit extra working capital. Can you help me? Well, obviously they're with that bank now, right? So that bank probably has a lien on their accounts receivable. They may have a small line of credit with that bank. A lot of bankers, if they're cool and it's a smaller bank, maybe they would be willing to subordinate maybe one or two debtors to us, that we can factor just maybe one or two or three debtors just to give their clients some help and some working capital. So if that's the case, and you think, hey man, that they got a line of credit with their current bank, they're not eligible for factoring, let us talk to them first. We can get, there's ways around it based on what we can do and what their bank's willing to do to help their client out if they really want to. So keep that in mind. And then as you can see, the less important stuff, we're really not worried about the earnings and the cash flow. Financial covenants. Let me just stop there. Financial covenants. Now, if they are with the bank, and like I said, a lot of banks call us now because their client, they're not hitting their financial covenants. They're not hitting their quarterly numbers. The numbers are looking bad. So a lot of banks are looking to unload clients, unfortunately. Well, hey, that's where invoice factoring comes in. We want those clients because we're basing it on really their accounts receivable and their debtor, right? Because that's how we're going to get paid back. So if you find yourself with clients that are getting kicked out of their current bank for some odd reason or whatever, give us a holler and let us know, and hopefully we can help them out. Factoring clients to avoid construction. Actually, we do construction, so it's give or take. It's just based on what they're doing. Bonded jobs compared to non-bonded jobs. So we can talk about the construction piece. The medical insurance, the Medicaid, Medicare, we don't factor any of that type of thing. Progress billing, we really don't either. And progress billing is just say, there's a client that's working on, your street, and the street's a mile long, and they get done 10% of the street, right? They're able to invoice and bill. We don't factor that because the time they get onto the second tenth of the street, something may have happened to the first tenth. I know that sounds confusing, and then there's a hassle with it. So progress billing, we don't like. We like funding on completed work. The truck driver drops the load off, gets the signed bill of lading saying the load has been dropped off. Boom, we can factor it. The staffing agency, the medical, they sent the nurses to the hospital. The hospital signs off, said, "Yep, they were here for 40 hours this week." Boom, we're able to factor that. So we're looking at completed work in order for us to factor that client. The pricing and the advanced rate. The advanced rate, that's pretty normal there, 80 to 100. I'm going to say we're roughly right now 85 to 100%, okay, based on what the client is. If it's a trucking client, for example, we're funding 100% of that invoice. So if they turn in a $100 invoice today, we're going to fund the full amount less our cost. And that could be 2%. Again, based on how much they're factoring. If the guy's factoring $1 million a month, obviously the rate's going to be a lot lower. The discount fee, as you can see, it can be 0.50 to 2%. Again, based on the volume, based on the industry, and based on what they're doing. Next page, please. Okay, the benefits of Gulf Coast. We do have the ability to move quick. Like I said, it's really, if you sent me a client right now, I can tell you if we're going to approve this client or not based on what it is and what they do. If you have an aging report, and I tell everybody that, look, if you have an accounts receivable aging report, send that to me. I'll tell you right off the bat whether we're going to do this client and factor them or not, period. Because that aging report tells the story. And 50% lower in factoring rate than other companies, that is true. As I told you, we are a bank. We have the money to fund. We're not borrowing money to give to these clients. We have the money. So our rate legitly is lower. If you have a term sheet from any other of your clients that are factoring with somebody else now, I'd love to see it today, or let's talk about it. And we'll beat that. We'll beat whatever they're paying right now. Again, I get calls all day long. Rob, I'm doing it, getting 1%. All right, let me see it. If you are, we'll beat it. But let me see who you're getting it from and who it's with. And a lot of people will show me that and we'll beat it, or they won't. And I know they don't have that rate. Contract terms, 90 days to 12 months. All my trucking deals, startups, I'll factor a startup trucking deal and do a 90-day contract. And the only reason I'll do that, I'm not worried about them leaving. We're giving them a heck of a deal. They're with a fully FDIC regulated bank. I'm not worried about them leaving us to go shop and try to get a lower rate. We're giving them the lower rate. And that's why they're with us 4+ years. They don't leave us. We do calculate based on funding date. So if a guy did it, if a guy did a job 30 days ago, we're not charging him from 30 days ago. If he sends that invoice to us today, for example, we're charging him from today's date, not 30 days ago when he did the job. A lot of other factors will do that. We don't. Uh, they can finance, they can factor as needed. We don't hold them hostage. There's no monthly minimums. So, do this in your own head. I just say, look, if the guy's invoicing $1 million a month and he wants to factor 100,000 a month, great, factor 100 grand. We don't care. Again, we don't need to make the money. We have the money. It's our money that we're giving, right? So we're not borrowing it. We don't have to hit certain numbers for the bank. We have the money. So, and if they want to factor a million, great. Obviously, that's going to help you all as brokers and referral sources. You're going to make your money that way. The more they factor, obviously, the better. But again, we don't hold them hostage and say, hey, you do $1 million a month, you got to factor $1 million a month. Do as much as you like. It's a tool. Again, use it as payroll. If you need to hit payroll this week, well, factor 100 grand. If you need to pay a vendor to save 3%, pay a vendor early. Paying a vendor at 3% or factoring with us at 1 to 2%, we're actually saving you money. Factor it. But again, you don't have to. It's at their will, as much or as little as they want. And as you can see down the bottom, we got great management. They're able to see all their reports online. We never really have any arguments, even with payments. And when I say that, every payment that we get in, every single payment, we take a picture of the front and the back of the envelope and the payment, so people know when that payment hit. And we process daily, so we know when payments come in. So there's never any qualms about that. So very transparent. Clients are able to go onto the dashboard and see what they factored, see what's paid, and all that kind of stuff. So next page. And that's it. If you need to contact us, my name is Robert James. I know Stu was traveling. He was trying to hop on, so we'll be sad that he missed this. He might be able to hear us, but you can give him a holler. Meg's our national sales manager. Great gal. She gets right on it as well. So if you need anything from her, shoot her an email. If we ever run into any snags on deals, that's who we're calling anyway, is Meg. So she'll give us an answer right away. But we really appreciate you all taking the time to hop on the webinar. I'd love to work with you. And I know I've signed a lot of you up on, the referral broker agreements already. I'd love to see you all and visit you face to face at the next conference. We do a little happy hour, I guess you could say. I don't know if anybody went to the last one we had at the sports book, but if you're going to go to the next conference, shoot us an email. We'd like to invite you to the event just so we can get together, shake hands, go over anything you want to go over, and hope to see you all soon. And we thank you very much.
All right. If anyone has any questions, now is the time. Please put those in the Q&A box, or if you would prefer to speak, you can click the raise your hand feature next to your name, and I will unmute you to speak. So
and you can do that, or you can hang up and just give me a call. I'm free right now. Take your time. I'm free all day. We can chat for 15 minutes. It doesn't matter. So if you just want to call me direct. I'm good with that. You don't have to answer it here if you don't want, but if you do, fire away. If not, give me a holler. I'm available.
Right. We have a couple of comments. I don't know if there's questions in here, but Paul just wants to say thank you for the introduction and enjoyed your explanation of helping a small business from purchase order financing or buying the product through factoring or same or related invoice to the ultimate customer, making payroll. Very good, very useful. And he's looking forward to seeing everyone in Austin, Texas.
Austin, yep. We'll be there. We have a booth there. Again, we're at all the shows, so we have a booth. stop by. Um, but if anybody wants to go to our little get together beforehand, just so we can shake hands, because at the booth, a lot of times it's busy or we're talking to somebody and we see people walk by. We want to say hi to you. We want to thank you for your business, the ones that are already with us. We want to explain anything that you guys, want to talk about. So if you're interested in that, just shoot me an email direct. I'll get you on the list. And Lauren, you still on as well?
Yes, Sam.
And Lauren puts all this together for us, these type of events. So just let us know, but love to see y'all.
Great. Well, I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So
Okay,
as
thank you.
mentioned, we will have this recording on our website. So if you want to watch it at a later time, you can do that. And I want to thank everybody for participating. I thank our valued funding source and gold sponsor, Gulf Coast Business Credit. Great job, Stuart. And we invite everyone to meet with Gulf Coast in person at the Commercial Financing Expo coming up this September in Austin, Texas. And I want to thank you again and have a great day.